Welcome back once again. Hopefully we actually finish the game. But every time I say that, it just keeps going on and on. I think this one is longer than the Stanton one. It's just so... Last part, I don't know, was kind of weird. Let me plug in my computer before it dies due to all the gaming. Alright. We're in business. We're about to go to some event at the Crescent. That's why we were helping him plan all that stuff. Let's get back into it and just have fun. Oh, Rose, you made it. Of course, you thought I would not? You have been rather busy helping Mr. Amesbury. I was helping him plan this whole thing. Why would I not make it? Why would I not be, invited? You weirdo. You weirdie. The suggestive tone of her voice makes my cheeks flush pink, and I glance away. I have merely been aiding with gathering you had longed for. The Rose is kind of like me. Sorry, I have a yawn. And I am indeed most looking forward to it later this evening. That's what happens when you've only had one cup of coffee. So I've learned. Sorry. Her hand falls on Ernest's, who I notice does not draw away from the touch even in the public setting. Yeah, he's like, I don't care, I love her. It is quite the talk amongst everyone. I hope you have prepared for so many curious people. Oh, are they just like talking about the party or us? I don't know. Lord, we'll figure it out. I hope so as well. Bright laughter envelops us, and we settle down to enjoy our tea. Oh, do excuse me, ladies. It seems my fellow officers have arrived. Fine, leave us. I don't care. It's fine. Just messing with them. Anywho. He stands from his place and gives a well-practiced bow before standing off to meet up with the uniformed men who just walked in. Sorry, I had a window pop up. It's caught off guard. Where was the second there? Okay. Arabella shifts her chair a little closer, her touch transferring to me as she now takes my hands. Well, now we are alone. You must tell me everything. I do not know what you could mean. Oh my gosh. What I would say to her is he is a tease, because he gets all close to us and we think, oh, their lips are going to lock, but then he just goes, now, looks like the way it was described was like he was gonna hug us, but he was just getting a book out of our back pocket. It's like you could have just talked to us like normal. Or he was gonna go for an embrace, but then he got nervous and then he probably just was like, oh, here's your book. So, yeah. Anyways, he's a tease. I don't know what you could mean, so I already said that, sorry. Oh, Rose, you cannot fool me with such innocence. I've barely seen you these past weeks, and when I have, you've spoken of little but your Mr. Amesbury. Stop calling him mine. You guys, I'm on the team, not even, sorry, I'm tired. What was I gonna say? I don't even remember. I'm so sorry. I had like a brain fart with my yawn. So she's saying, like, all we've talked about is him. I don't know. I could say, really, I didn't mean to do such. The gathering has taken up a lot of my time, that is all. What a bore I must have become. I apologize. I didn't realize that. I'm just gonna say it's taken up a lot of my time, because it has. Preparations for tonight's event has taken more time than I originally thought, that is all. Oh, that is all, truly. I wonder if, I think there is alcohol at these things because they've talked about these two people being drunk, and then before that they didn't say they were drunk, but I have a feeling it was more than rage that was, making them act out at the picnic. But I don't think maybe it's not appropriate for ladies to drink in a public setting during this time period, or I don't know. I'm not saying they have to drink. It's like they don't really talk about it. Maybe it's because it's with the time period. That's what my brain is thinking. Anyway, that is all. I try to answer as calmly as possible, but her tone tugs a smile from me. You know, it is not a bad thing to be so happy, even if it is due to someone who is rather more bold than I would like. When you find someone who enriches your life, do not let them go. Exactly. I noticed her gaze slide past me, her focus now trained on Ernest. The man smiles brightly at her attention, and the two seem lost to each other for a moment. She shakes her head slightly to break her gazing. Plus, I do believe Larry must be your good luck charm. Oh, how so? Yeah, how so? Good luck charm? What? You have not had one run-in or scandalous letter from the society swindler since you began helping Larry, and that should be a sign that he is the swindler of my heart. Stole my heart. She sounds almost disappointed, but I realize she is right. That's true, I had almost completely forgotten about him. It's been so long. That's because he's been involved with her, and he's been so busy, so that's why he's like, I don't need to do that. He doesn't need to stalk me in the street like a weirdo, like a stalker, like a swindler. The society swindler is almost a tongue twister. Like, I don't like to say society swindler every dang time because it's just easier to say the swindler because, jeez, it has no one has heard a peep from the bandit in a long while. Maybe he grew tired of the scheme. Or maybe he could see how fond you have grown of someone else and simply realized his attentions would not work. No matter how many flowers or sweet he sends. But enough of strangers. Are you seeing Larry today? Yes, I am to head there soon, in fact. Well, it has been some time since I have spoken to Larry. Maybe Ernest and I could collect you later and we'll walk home together. A wonderful idea, Arabella. And then the swindler will show up once more. Okay, I forgot. That actually was... I forgot because they said that she was meeting with Arabella and Ernest, or Foxley, before going over to the croissant. Yeah. So that was just like us meeting up in a public setting, I think, and then we're like, okay, girl, let's go. Let's have fun. Okay, and with that decided, I give her a hug, say my goodbyes to Ernest, and head to the Crescent and Mr. Amesbury's residence. Arriving at the house, I find Mr. Amesbury waiting in the foyer for me, and he was wearing the same thing. How did I know? Oh, I get it. You don't want to draw so many dang... What's it called? You don't need to draw so many outfits. Miss Smythe, how good to see you. I was beginning to worry you had forgotten our appointment. What is he, a doctor? Is he gonna steal our intestines and put it in our hat? I'm sorry. It's just weird when they're like, oh, this is our appointment. Like, now we think of appointment. I mean, it is an appointment, but it's just strange. No one says that anymore. It's interesting doing, with period pieces. You're like, no one does that anymore. Who says that? Like, it's really funny. Especially in, like, such a modern time, like 2017, which we only have so few months left of. He steps forward in front of the servant who moves to take my coat and hat. Instead, he reaches forward to help me out of the cape myself. I mean, that's awkward when you just, like, you go to do something and then someone else just kind of gets in your way, like, move! Trying to do my job. I do my best to ignore his close proximity, though it is growing more difficult each day I am with him. They need a kiss already. Jesus. We got Larry, who's a big freaking tease over here. Oh, and in case you forgot, Monty, Mr. Montford, we're not really all that attracted to him anymore. I mean, he's really good looking, but, like, when you spend more time with him, you're like, he's moody, he's weird, and he was, like, blaming us for, why his friend, like, didn't talk to him. And I'm like, why don't you talk to freaking Larry? And then we barely said anything about Monty, and, like, Larry just says, oh, did he, offend you? And I said, no, and then that was kind of like the end of it. Like, oh, good. And that was the end of it, which I was trying to say to him was you should talk to you, or what I would want to say is, like, you should talk to Larry, because, like, I'm no good. I would never forget such a thing, Larry. Eternally fine, he has not moved away, our bodies close to touching. I'm glad to hear such. I barely hear his response, and we're captured by his intense gaze. Footsteps sound. Sorry, I'm so yawning. From beside us, and I stumble a step back from Mr. Amesbury. Monty walks into the foyer from the drawing room, a polite, if somewhat forced smile on his face when he sees me. Because he is, like, all, butthurt at me, so he's just gonna be a fake-ass bitch now. Miss Smythe, how nice to see you here again. I don't know why he has that voice all of a sudden. He gives a small bow and I curtsy in return. I have no regular voices for these characters because I would forget them. And I also would, not do it justice, or I wouldn't even do it consistently the same. So, there we go. Good day to you, Mr. Montfort. Just in time, Pierce. Oh? He doesn't sound so enthused as Larry pulls him closer. I have a few last chores to do, so would you mind escorting Miss Smythe about the rooms for a final check? I have chores for you. Mr. Montford's like, okay. This is not cool, man. I try not to let the disappointment show on my face, hoping to have had Larry's company for the entire time as usual. Monty isn't so successful at schooling his downturned expression. If that's what you wish. Excellent. Larry takes a step closer to me, taking one of my hands in his. I shan't be too I love shan't. I use that sometimes. I shan't be too long, and then you shall have all of me, Miss Smythe. Of course, I understand. Don't leave me. He steps back, moving my hand from his to Monty's, who reluctantly wraps his fingers around my... Is he gonna talk shit while we're, walking to the rooms? Why are we checking the rooms? Are people staying over? I don't get it. Are we a hotel? I don't know how this works. I'm hoping you'll find everything just the way you hope. Oh, are we staying with him? We haven't even kissed him. We're staying with him? I don't get it. He gives a half bow before marching from the room with his servant in tow. Shall we continue on, Miss Smythe? Yes, thank you. Sorry. He leads me away from the foyer, but I can't help but glance back to where Larry had gone. A couple hours later, as evening is drawing in and it's nearly time for me to leave and prepare myself for the evening's gathering, Mr. Amesbury returns. Oh, he took his jacket off. It's about time. It's different. My apologies for being so long, Miss Smythe. No, none needed, Larry. I understand last-minute preparations are needed. I feel like there's always last-minute preparations. Nobody is, 100% ready when people show up. It's little things here and there, Is it nightfall already? I was there kind of early. What did I do? Just stand in the side, maybe check rooms? That's what I was getting from the context. And then just, look pretty? I don't get it. I should look pretty for ya? I thought Pierce would be keeping you company. Monty has only just left to ready himself tonight. Arabella will be here soon to escort me home also. Why am I going home? Oh, to get ready? It's so confusing. She's going place to place to place to place to place. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. Then I shall make the most of the time we have together. Kiss me, you fool. What did you have in mind? We should really make our final checks for tonight. Smile at him. We're gonna say, what did you have in mind? Kiss me, you fool. Even if we're not, I'm not that interested in this guy. I feel like he's kind of lame, but, they've formed a connection. I'm gonna say, what did you have in mind, you fool? I swallow down the intensity. His closeness stirs in me, trying not to speak of the depth of feelings I've grown for him over the weeks. What did you have in mind, Larry? Something I am most certain Mrs. Peaks would not approve of. Sorry, I don't know what that was. It was like a weird gasp. That sounded like a bird. Sorry, headphone users. This time I cannot help but blush. Oof. Oh. Have I shocked you into silence? Yes! Dude! She literally, finally, oh my gosh, this is what it does. I stumbled back a little as the memory of the swindler's words, so similar to Larry's, flashes into my mind. Are you alright? I did not mean... I am quite fine, thank you. I turn away slightly, feeling suddenly a little uncertain. For a moment, it seemed as though Larry could be... No, that's ridiculous. No, it's really true. I shake away the silly thought, my gaze flickering upwards to notice the chandelier. It seems that better lighting was forgotten. You weirdo. I gestured to the light and couple of candles burned down completely. Ah, I see you are quite right. If we retrieve one of the other candles for your servants, I'm sure they will have time enough to buy some matching ones for tonight. An excellent idea. So he must have not been using a different voice. If you were smart, you would have been talking differently. Even the Flash, if you watch the series, I don't know if this is in the actual comic books. I've not read the actual comic books, but there is in the beginning, I've only seen some of the early episodes of the Flash series. He does something because he's kind of incognito, and his adoptive sister, I believe, she is kind of trying to figure out who is the Flash, and she actually, I think, names him and everything, and she's like, oh, like, who are you? And he doesn't want her to know that he's the Flash, so he does something with his vocal cords, but he doesn't, it's not like an actual like microphone or anything, but he like actually speeds it up in a way, and it makes him sound different. And I was like, cool, but you know, this guy doesn't even try that. So I thought that was really interesting, by the way, in the Flash. But and then in this story, you'd think the guy would at least try to change his voice. I understand some people would say, have I shocked you into silence, maybe? But if he didn't have a different voice, she definitely would be like, this sounds just like the guy. So, yeah, that's my whole little thing. Though I did give the staff a couple of hours to themselves before the event. That was most generous of you. Yes, but it would seem it was a little remiss of me to not think ahead. I now have no one to retrieve the candle. Girl, get out. Be like, he's not dangerous, so you could say the swindler said that to me, kind of a thing. Like, sorry, I had a trigger moment. Like, Rose had a trigger moment. She's like, oh, shite, this is not good. Larry, we are hardly incapable of completing such a task ourselves. What did I...
Self-voicing disabled.
I hit a key. I'm so sorry. That was kind of funny. Self-voicing? What? I'm sorry, I just didn't even know. Larry, I was gonna hit the space bar and I hit V, so I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. Before he can speak further, I step onto the sofa and balance against the arm, reaching up to retrieve the candle, and then he touches me. Why does he look like that? He looks like he just saw a child beat a puppy to death. Like, he looks terrified. I'm sorry, it's so funny. It is thankfully a low-hanging chandelier, and I have practiced enough in this endeavor with many of the staff, the family estate being too old for such things. Miss Smythe, seems for once I am the one to shock you, Mr. Ames. No way. Did she say, the reason why I reacted that way, does she say that to him as a swindler, or does she say that to him as Larry? Because I feel like, maybe it was him as Larry, because he's like, oh, let me just shock you, because he was kind of saying stuff like, oh, that's pretty shocking. Maybe it was as Larry. I'm sorry. I thought it was him as a swindler, but he responded like, not at all. With steady steps, I move off of the sofa and back to the floor, only to feel a pair of hands wrap around. Ooh. I knew it! A close-up. You continue to surprise me daily, Miss Smythe. Please do not risk yourself on my behalf again. It was hardly a risk, just a candle. It was just a candle, Lord Amesbury. He laughed softly, and I could feel the vibrations of it through his chest, nearly pressed against mine. What would it be like to live with you every day, I wonder? Is it something you think of? Oh, Miss Smythe, you cannot fathom as how many hours I have spent thinking of just such a life. My heart drums in my chest, blood coursing through my body so fast my mind whirls. I catch my breath as this gaze flickers to my lips, a jolt of excited anticipation is striking through me. He gently pulls me closer, his head moving down to mine. And then nothing happens, because this guy is a kiss blocker. You should not hold Miss Smythe in such an intimate way, Lord. Get the frick out! Especially with no chaperone in the room. What the frick? We have to have a chaperone before we can kiss? Oh, he's a kiss blocker. We wanted to make out. Why are you so salty, as the children say these days? Why are you so salty? You're just butthurt because we have love and you have none of the above. That's my song for the day. Thank you, thank you. I'll be here till, I don't know. Larry's grasp loosens, and I take an uneasy step back, my mind still spinning from our heated moment. We were gonna kiss. It was gonna happen. But then Montford had to come in. A frown settles on Mr. Montford's brow, but he turns away, seemingly to hide it. I like how our character is like, no, that's ridiculous. It can't be him. And it doesn't linger in her mind. Like, I hope she has another flashback. Like, say something, Larry, and then she's gonna have another flashback. Like, sorry. If I do not take the opportunity, when should I ever been able to speak to her alone? He winks at me, and I barely manage to stifle a chuckle. Monty gives a heavy sigh, turning to look for a book in one of the bookshelves lining the walls. Maybe you should take up a mask like that swindler fellow, then you could do as you wish. Maybe I should. Oh, gosh. Oh, the connection. Because of the irony, guys. Because we as the audience know he's a swindler, and Rose is kind of catching on, and he's like, oh, and he mentions a swindler, so it makes sense. Anyways. Monty, we had such a good start, and then I was like, boy, I do not like you. Oh, jeez. His focus on me is broken as a knock sounds from the front door. Arabella's familiar voice echoes from the hallway, and I realize it must be later than I thought. And they're wearing the same thing again. Arabella sweeps into the room, a smile on her face. Larry, Monty, how good to see you both again. Bows and curtsies are exchanged, Mr. Montfort moving to a further corner in the room. I am most anxious for tonight's gathering. Well, I do believe it will be quite something. Wholly due to Miss Smythe's diligent advice and care and preparations. I am most glad to be of use. I was not the only one to help. We could hardly allow society's finest to come into an unprepared house. You give me far too much credit. I must say I was not the only one. I was not the only one to help as well, you know, Larry. Very true, but your input is the one I valued most. Because you love us. Please kiss us now. As you should. Oh! Rose's talents are wasted in the country. What are you trying to say? We don't party in the country? We get down in the country. We got all that moonshine. Sorry. There is barely ever a reason to hold such a gathering out at the estate. But we shall not be able to enjoy your efforts tonight if we do not make haste home to prepare. You haven't got home yet? Oh, jeez. Ah, yes, of course. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to go too. Give me a goodbye kiss. Arabella and Ernest move back into the hallway, and a servant steps towards me and offers my cape and hat. But as I reach to take my cape, Larry catches it first. May I? Only if you kiss me. Make a move? I give a weak nod, turning so as he can drape the garment over me. Ah, yes. Much warmer. It takes all my focus not to turn to face him as his breath washes over my shoulder. I'm suddenly jolted from my reverie as his fingers graze over the skin on my neck in a familiar motion. Flashback! His fingers slowly trace over my skin, leaving a trail. Without thinking, I step away and spin on my heel to face Larry, who looks as shocked as I must. Is something wrong? I listen intently to his voice, frowning deeply as my mind whirls with familiarity. Surely he can't be. Miss Smythe? He steps closer to me again, and my thoughts are almost wiped away at his nearness. I shake my head and smile as best I can. Nothing is wrong at all. I apologize. I would not let you walk home if you are unwell. I will call for my carriage. It will be but moments. I thought Arabella was picking me up. Did she just, leave me, oh, hey, we're gonna go home, and then peace out? What the frick? Genuine concern tugs at his voice, but I'm still beginning to recognize the sound of it. Now you're just recognizing the sound of his voice? Ugh, that part annoys me. The society so similar sounds much the same. Not even to think such a... What? No, even to think such a thing is ridiculous. Larry cannot be the swindler. I stare up at him, his eyes wide with worry as he gazes at me. I place a hand on his arm to still his concerns. Thank you for worrying about me. You do not need to worry about me. I have never seen you so serious. I am honestly quite well. We're going to pretend like there's nothing wrong, and then we're going to be like, you're the swindler! Case closed! I'm honestly quite well. There's no need to concern yourself. You shall always have my full concerns, Miss Smythe. But it does seem you have regained your spirits. Therefore, I shall look forward to seeing you soon. Ooh, she's gonna spill to Arabella! Very soon indeed, the gathering is merely hours away. What? Yeah, maybe even sooner than that. I frown at the apparent hidden meaning to his words, only to be called away by Arabella, who was keen to leave. Oh my goodness. If I was him, I'd be like, she knows. She knows. The cat's out of the bag. Which is a weird saying, because, why would a cat be in a bag? It's animal cruelty. I do not condone animal cruelty. I don't allow it. I don't like it. It's bad. Anywho, let's continue. And hopefully she says, dude, that's the swindler. She needs to tell people. Not just sweep it on the rug. And our character is very creeped out by the touch, because when a stranger touches you, ugh, yuck. True to his word, Ernest escorts Arabella, and I hope that none of us seem overly concerned with our surroundings. Instead, our enthusiastic chatter has remained on an upcoming event that evening. Officers are beyond excited to attend such a private gathering. Watch, the swindler's gonna show up. I bet your ass he is. Seems to be the talk of the town. I'm not sure Larry would care to know how he has delighted society so much. Yes, he certainly delighted some of us most heartily. From what I've heard, it would seem few people have gained a peek inside the Larry residence. Even fewer have met the heir to the Amesbury name himself. Yep. Oh no! A sudden flurry of shadow makes us halt in our steps. I hear Arabella gasp loudly as she stumbles aside, a dark figure stepping between us. That's when you say, "Go away, Larry." And he goes, "Whoa, she knows! How does she know?" Boo, you are like the lamest criminal ever. Good evening, ladies. Colonel Foxley. How dare you address me, sir? You'd prefer I ignored you? Me? Yes. That's what I would say. Yes, please do. The man's joking only makes Ernest clench his fists in anger. He simply shrugs off the colonel's fuming and turns to face me, and for the first time I truly look closely at him. I hate to give in to such thoughts, but since my time with Larry earlier, I just cannot help but wonder. We meet once again, milady. You presume much to think you can harass these ladies so frequently without consequence? The swindler glances over his shoulder at Ernest, blocking my attempts to see through the shadow to his face. Harass? I would never do such a thing. I am merely eager to know they are safe on the streets. But that safety comes at a price, is it not? He returns his focus to me, and once again I attempt to see through the dark shadow of his hat and the night. You are most correct. My time is precious, and I do require payment for it. Oh my gosh. What's next? My cloak, you weirdo. And as I've said, you are my favorite patron. Foxy makes a step forward, obviously not liking being blocked by the swindler. Being blocked from me, what? From me, by the swindler. But I glance at him and shake my head. I'm surprised when he stays in place, apparently understanding my request. I just need to get close enough. A mask cannot hide everything, especially as I have grown to know Larry so well over these weeks. If it is even him at all. Girl, it is. She's still kind of like in this state of denial, like, no, not Larry Bear. I take a step towards him, notching his smile falter as little as I do. What would you steal from me this time, sir? Yeah, we have balls now. Bigger balls, sorry. Even if the shadow, I can see his full lips quirk into a long smile. I am most pleased you asked me, my lady. He steps closer and I take a deep breath to keep my resolve. I would have a kiss. How dare you! You disgust. As the colonel stumbles on his insults and what seems to be both anger and embarrassment, I try to stem my shock. Arabella does not struggle with retort. Rose, I will not have you pawed over by that brute. Yeah, this is not the way to do it. This is not the way to do it, Larry. You twisted weirdo. The swindler seems to be barely paying attention to the others, and I find myself hardly hearing them either as he gazes intently at me. I realize then that this is the perfect moment to find out the truth once and for all. It will be fine, Arabella. Your request does not shock me as much as you hope. I will want to abscond on payment. I agree. Are we agreeing with Arabella? This is not the time to do it. She's acting like, oh, this is how I know for sure. But I don't know if we should do that. Oh, I wouldn't want to abscond. What if we agree with Arabella? I agree. Hold on. Let me save just in case. I don't want to mess it up. Sorry. I must say I'm somewhat surprised, if a little disheartened at the sensibility and the tone of your response. Would you prefer to not agree at all? He says nothing, only gazes at me once again. I glance behind him to see Arabella and Ernest still seething with anger. I offer them a gentle smile. Please do not worry. But Rose. I'll be fine, Arabella, I promise. Wait, what? What did I... hold on. What happened? What happened? Let me see. Oh, they all just end up in the same thing. I see them still seething with anger. I offer them a gentle smile. Please don't worry, but Rose, I'll be fine, Arabella, I promise. Okay, so all the choices, you end up kissing him, but it's like, that's weird. I do not kiss weird men in streets. Okay. She presses her lips before nodding, then turns to push Ernest back a little, obviously hoping to stop him before he does something reckless. You have true concern for your friends. That surprises you? Not in the slightest. Now then, if you don't mind, I would ask for my payment. I swallow hard, the thundering of my heart due once again to the excitement he always manages to pull from me. Looking down, I yank off one of my gloves and offer my hand forwards from him to place the kiss upon. A deep chuckle echoes from him. He takes my fingers gently in his grasp. Oh, my lady. I gasp as he yanked me forward, almost crashing into his chest. Dang, you weirdo. He wants a real kiss. He doesn't want just like a peck on the hand. I asked for a kiss, not a formality. You're kind of... Ew, he's kind of... That's weird. He held me against him firmly, but loose enough I realized I could leave if I wished. The oil lamp flickers beside us, and now, finally being so close, I can see his face partly illuminated. My eyes widen in true recognition of the warm brown eyes that stare back at me. Larry is the society swindler. The realization makes my mind dizzy, and I'm only brought back to my thoughts as his hands spread across the small of my back. I can feel the heat of his touch through my cape, as though it were against bare skin. His gaze catches mine, seeming to wait for permission. I flutter my eyes shut in response and anticipation. His lips meet mine, only a moment later is warm and gentle. His arm tightened about me as our lips dance over each other. In rhythm, we both match. My fingers grasp at his shoulders, not wanting this to end. His kiss deepens in response, one hand cupping my face and the other pressing me further against him. He is certainly a thief, having stolen away any rational thoughts I may have had left. When we finally part, I'm thankful his arms are about me to keep me upright, so I fear my knees would have buckled. I blink my eyes open, once again meeting the familiar gaze of Mr. Amesbury, half hidden behind the mask. For a moment longer, all we seem to be able to do is gaze at each other. I'm still breathless with my thoughts and words trapped by his touch. You are... Whatever he hoped to say through heavy breaths interrupted by the sound of footsteps. You've had your fun, now leave. There is a serious threat in the Colonel's words I have not heard before, and Larry seems to sense it too. He lets me go, and I feel suddenly a little cold as he moves away. With the tip of his hat, he gives his final grin and sprints down an alleyway. I wish he could have just, called him out and been like, I know who you are, kind of thing. Stare after him, and my hands gripping at the hem of my cape to keep my fingers still. I don't think anyone but us saw. Let's go home. Get you home, Rose. A pang of guilt shoots through me in response to their concern, knowing I was in no danger. Here's the thing, if you knew it was him, would you still go through with it? I mean, I don't think it's appropriate, because, what if he didn't know if we knew that it was him, That's disgusting. Sorry. Continuing, I remained simply silent, was still unable to voice much at all, as excitement and confusion still courses through every fiber of my being. At home, I rushed to get myself ready for the evening's gathering. It's made somewhat more difficult with my head full of newfound knowledge of Larry's nighttime excursions. I sit at my dresser, staring at myself in the mirror. How could I have not seen it before? I shake my head at my own ignorance. Yep, you're ignorant, basically. Raise my hands to my lips, still tingling with the memory of his kiss. Poem, yeah. I'm interrupted from my intimate thoughts by the door opening. Arabella, is everything alright? What the just happened? Sorry, I don't know what happened. I should be asking you that very question. She walks further into the room, resting a hip on the edge of my dresser. I frown at her as she seems to stumble on her words, something I have rarely seen from her. Should I be concerned for you, Rose? Concerned? The swindler when he kissed you. Well, let's just say I know when a woman is happy to be kissed or not. And you look far from distressed. I knew she would notice, I understand your feelings are your own, and having a man such as he pay you attention is rather exciting. But I have to give my word of caution as your closest friend. These kinds of infatuations can lead to terrible outcomes. She does not hide how truly concerned she is, and I glance at my lap, part in shame for knowing the truth about it all and not speaking of it. Okay. There is something you have to know. I appreciate your concern, but please don't worry for me. My business is my own. Just tell her, and she's probably going to be interrupted by a door. Watch. I can no longer keep the truth from her, not from the woman I consider as close as a sister. There is something you must know, Arabella. I stand from my place, taking her hand and leading her over to the bed. We both sit on the edge, and she stares at me expectantly. After a deep breath, I tell her the truth about how Amesbury is the swindler. Her reaction is not quite as shocked as I had expected. I suppose we should have seen it sooner. Duh! Sorry, that was loud. His mannerisms are very alike, and of course his keen interest in singling you out from the start. Oh yes, how obvious it's been. She gives a laugh, one I cannot help but join in with. What am I doing? Sorry. Return. But how bold he's been. There certainly can be no doubt in his affections for you now. So tell me, how was the kiss? Thankfully, before I have to answer, a maid walks in to inform us the carriage is ready. Well, tonight should have been more interesting now. Should be even more interesting now. Okay. We are, I think, at the end where We're gonna talk to Larry Bear, and then it's gonna be, done. The carriage ride is quite short, but I'm thankful we did not walk, as the chill night air seems to permeate even through my cape upon stepping outside. Ernest had insisted we use the carriage, as he was unable to escort us this time due to having to arrive at the gathering with his fellow officers. We arrived promptly at the Crescent, only to find a crowd arriving at the house. It is a few minutes before we manage to make it into the actual house through the bustle that is gathered outside. Oh my, it is even busier than I had expected. I give a nod, not realizing so many invitations had been given. I notice Arabella shifting, craning her neck to see through the masses of people blocking the foyer. I expect to see in the drawing room. We could push our way through? Looking for someone particular, are we? You maybe should not be so obvious. Let's just try drawing room. I watched her to try to search for moments longer and smile, spreading. Oh, expect he's in the drawing room. I don't know who you could be speaking of. Oh my god, Arabella, stop it. Of course you don't. I take her arm and try to squeeze along the wall past everyone. Come this way. Upon entering the drawing room, I let out a relieved breath to find it less hectic with people. Arabella's face lights into a smile upon spotting a group of red uniformed men. Ha ha ha! I believe I should go and greet those who have arrived. Of course. She throws me a final smile before disappearing into the crowd in the direction of her colonel. Oh, at least we both have a man. I nod politely at a few people who pass, unable to help my own gaze, sliding over the crowd in the search for Larry. Instead, I meet a different gaze, though one that is familiar. It's gonna be Monty. Yep. God damn it. Mr. Montfort is stood amongst a group of men, though upon spotting me his lips thin and he reluctantly excuses himself from the group. He then mazes his way through the crowd to eventually stand before me. Miss Smythe, for a while I did not think you'd make it. If you. He dips into a bow and I curtsy in return, hoping his stiff manners are a result of so many people. I did not realize so many had been invited tonight. No, indeed, neither does it seem did Lawrence, who was less than impressed at the amount of people. I laugh lightly, noticing even he cannot seem to keep the straightness of his expression as I do. His expression softens as he smiles. I apologize, where are my manners? You are looking most well this evening. Thank you. He gives a satisfied nod, like someone who has completed a duty more than a pleasure. We fall into a slightly awkward silence, and I mull over something to speak of when thankfully I hear Larry calling over to us. Our man comes to stand between us, and my pulse speeds a little to see the smile on his handsome face. You're here at last, Miss Smythe. I thought you may have been lost amongst the crowd. I was. Our smiles falls into a gaze that I am not in a hurry to break. Well, if you will excuse me. Monty gives a quick bow before spinning on his heel and ducking back into the people around us. Would you like me to escort you about the room, Miss Smythe? I'd be delighted. Slip my hand to his arm, allowing him to lead me about the room. As the evening progresses, I spend most of it with Mr. Amesbury, and as distracted as his company is, I cannot keep my thoughts from the swindler. Not once does Larry speak of what happened just hours before. I wonder how he can be so composed when he holds such a secret. It is then I decide it's finally time to have my own fun with him, as he has been so bold to have me as the swindler. Been enjoying a few rounds of the card game, Lou, when I have my first chance. You win again, Miss Smythe. The bounty is yours. I reach forward with a bright smile to swipe at the small pile of coins glinting in the center of the table. You are practically stealing from us with the amount you have won. Lady Steer's words give me an idea, and I turn my focus to Amesbury, who is staring at me from the opposite side of the table. I believe I have learned that trait from someone I know. It's what any thief wants. Don't you have any knowledge on that subject, Larry? I'm going to do this one. I do believe it is a trait I may have learned from someone I know. I keep my focus fixed on Larry, noticing his gaze falter for a moment and his brows shift together in an uncertain frown. I proceed to collect up my winnings and the comment passing over everyone except Larry, it seems. He shakes his head, the smile returning, obviously passing off the comment as nothing more than a mere remark. Oh, it is not a mere remark. It is mass more than that. I smile to myself, enjoying this far more than I probably should. Word. After everyone is satisfied enough with cards and the tables and furniture are pushed aside, allowing room for dancing. Get freaky. Listen to that soundtrack. Sorry. I cannot help but be a little disappointed that Larry has been called away due to his duties as a host. But he had at least promised me a dance when he is done. I stand to one side happy to see Arabella and Ernest taking to the floor. As I am about to move away to find a drink, I find someone walking up beside me. This guy again. Oh, Monty. I apologize, it was not my intention to startle you. Lawrence has asked that I offer you a dance whilst he is otherwise occupied. That would be wonderful, thank you. We do a mean cha-cha slide, okay? Take his offered hand, thankful to be doing so. I'll be doing something other than standing by myself in a corner. She's so me. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Sorry for that tap. My head was on the microphone. Because I was like having a moment there of connection with Miss Rose Smythe. She's my hero. Okay, he leads me to the center of the room, each of us taking a place opposite one another. Though he offers me a polite smile, it seems a little strained. I suddenly wonder if he does not enjoy dancing at all. As the music begins, we take 2 steps closer. His smile fades a little as we meet in the center. You must be proud of your achievement here tonight, Miss Smythe. Poetry. It is too good to see so many people it is good. Oh, sorry. It was only arranging a gathering. Achievement is rather a strong word for what I did. Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm going to say it is good to see so many people happy. It is good to know I helped in making so many people happy. We part again, the music chiming around us. Another couple dance around us before we step together. He pulls my hand above us, our arms arched over our heads. He keeps far more distance between us than the other couples, though. Again, he is all polite smiles. Yes, certainly are a master of happiness, and others, it would seem. Is that low-key like a horror joke? Sorry. Like, you keep everybody happy. Like, that is... I'm sorry, I made it weird. I'm sorry. I frown a little in confusion of his rather tense words, but have little more time to think on it as we part ways again. Soon the rest of the dance separated, mazing between other couples and dancing down the center of the pairs. As the music draws to an end, Mr. Montfort leads me one to one side of the room where Larry is waiting. You might have quite... I can't read, I'm sorry. You made quite the pair out there. I'm afraid I am nowhere near as elegant in my steps as Pierce is when dancing. Well, give it a try. Give it a go, old chap. It is not the steps, but the company that is important. A fair point. Though I'm sure a partner such as yourself helps immensely. You're a very distracting company. Wonder if the swindler would agree. Does he know something? Or is he just... He seems like he's like low-key like throwing him under the bus, like trying to make him uncomfortable. And I wonder if Monty's kind of upset that he knows that he's the swindler, and like, and the way he sort of singles out Rose, maybe he's upset that, I don't know, he thinks that maybe we don't know about him. He's apparently taken quite an interest in you, Miss Smythe, if the rumors are to be believed. I suddenly realize Monty's statement is another perfect opportunity to play my game with Ames. Exactly, you weirdo. Should we ask the swindler? Ooh, we can just call him out, like, right in front of his friend. Should we... Oh... Dang. Curious minds should always be rewarded. That's what he wrote in those, when he would give us, like, if we went to the florist or the candy shop, he'd be like, oh, curious minds are always rewarded. Let's just say that. And then watch Mr. Amesbury crap his pants. Curious minds should always be rewarded. A favorite saying of yours, isn't it, Larry? Or have I confused you for someone else on that matter? I don't think I've ever said such a thing. No, I don't think so, but you did write it down. Oh, then it must be my mistake. Ooh, you just see him crap his pants. He clears his throat, his gaze turning on me as though to examine me. I just smile knowingly. He continues to look at me, and I'm sure he must soon realize I know the truth. Please. Larry's called. Oh my gosh. Can we just get like a freaking. Why are they drawing it on and on and on? I don't get it. Larry is called away once again before we have a chance to dance, as I'd hoped. As much fun as I'm having teasing him, I still find myself wishing to spend most of my time with him. Monty also leaves me to my own company, returning to the chatter of a few men nearby. He makes his exit politely, but obviously thankful for his duty towards me to be over. Yeah. On the few times I am joined by Larry, I manage to sneak in a few more hints of my knowing the truth about the swindler. Each one leaves him, stuttering on his usually unfaltering, confident replies, and I cannot help but chuckle as he does so. I mean, we kissed the guy, and we saw his face. Like, how would he think, oh, she still doesn't know, but we're just gonna make out with her, you know? And then, like, when we kiss and he's, like, not in the swindler get-up, like, she's gonna put two and two together, like, for sure at that time. Anyways, continuing. As the evening draws on, I can barely have left him with any doubt as to me knowing who he is. But still, we have not yet had our dance. A while later, I move into the foyer and am joined by Arabella and Ernest, who have been so entranced in each other's company all evening they have barely left the dance area. Well, Rose, you certainly helped to plan a fine evening. Yep. Thank you, that is kind of you to say. Though I don't think I'd had as big a part in preparations as people have been led to believe. Oh, nonsense, you underestimate yourself. I would agree with Arabella. As he says this, they catch gazes, blushes forming up both their cheeks, their faces, whatever. They smile to break the stare. And where is Larry? Every time I've glanced to you this evening, he has seemed to be drawn to you. I'm not sure that is quite true. There's no need to be coy about such attractions, Rose. The music shifts, signaling the start of the next dance. The dancing is starting once again. Let the beat drop. Please go and enjoy yourselves. I believe we shall not be the only ones. I rouse Arch in surprise of her words, but my confusion does not last long as I feel a hand rest gently on my shoulder. Miss Smythe, I was hoping I could have your hand for this dance. You did promise, even if it has taken me some time to ask for it. I will be most delighted, Mr. Amesbury. I notice Arabella's grin as Larry leads me towards the space where the couples have begun to line up. Okay. Oh, Major Floyd has not been... That sounded so weird, I'm sorry. Has not been worn through with the amount of partners that have danced upon it that evening. Thank you, Rose, for that observation. We stand across from each other, and I can't help but notice his smile is not as wide as it had been. Instead, he stares at me with what I can only assume is curiosity. When the music starts, I step forward, curtsying before him, and then stepping back into the line of ladies. It is then his turn to step towards me. You know, I mean, do you enjoy dancing? When it is for fun and not because it is expected. It is a good way to build acquaintances. Yes, pretty much so. Not usually, no. Acquaintances. I think it is a good way of building acquaintances, yes. So do you prefer duty over enjoyment? Not in all cases. We step away and I raise a brow in questioning. Do you have something to confess on that matter? His blatant avoidance of speaking about the truth forces a teasing smile from me. And as he steps close again, I could see his lips purse in uncertainty. You are bold to tease me on such a serious topic, Miss Smythe. His voice is hushed, his head close to mine as his hands rest on my head back to lead me down the center of the other couples. And on what topic would that be, Larry? I feign whatever it is, surprise, and notice a smile flicker across his face. You know exactly which topic. He spins me around so as we stand face to face. If any had been clever enough to guess what your hints were all evening, I'd be exposed as a swindler. It's strange to hear him admit it, even if I had already known the truth. It seemed only fair to have my own fun. You did steal a kiss from me, after all. Steal? He gave a deep, hushed laugh. You didn't seem so reluctant to it at the time. I'd apologize for it, but I feel like it would be insincere on my part. I did so enjoy it. His half-lidded gaze and bold words fall as a couple come to pass near us. He takes my hand and we walk around, separating for a moment before drawing back together. Well, you are certainly a most gentlemanly figure now. All polite refinement and elegant dancing. Oh, if I could just only be so honest with you in this setting. You're certainly not quite as bold without your mask. He pulls me a little closer, and I'm aware of our nearness as whispers begin to sound about us. Did it ever think it may only be you who makes me so nervous? And wearing that mask allows me the freedom to speak to you as I wish I always could. Aw, that's cute. Okay, he's stealing us again. Our heart, I mean. Then maybe you should wear the mask all the time. You ugly face. I'm joking. Maybe I shall and see where it leads. His gaze flickers to my lips, and I struggle to breathe beneath the intensity of his gaze. My mind races with the memory of his kiss, the warmth of his lips, the need in his touch, the excitement of it all. That seems like a song. It is a few moments before we realize the music has stopped and other couples have left the floor. Larry leads me over to where Arabella and Ernest stood. I am quite parched after that dance. Allow me to fetch you a drink, Lady Ashburn. I shall join you. He called her Lady Ashburn even after all that? I mean, that was Mr. Amesbury, I don't know. For moving off through the crowd together. As soon as they're gone, Arabella instantly shifts closer and takes my arm. It truly is past the point of my giving you warnings on such intimacy in public, isn't it? Oh, Rose, I would care what society has to say, but my concern for your happiness will always outweigh their opinions. Is this almost done? They keep dragging it around. Still, maybe be a little careful. Larry has an untamed wild streak that I'm sure will never ever be stifled. She leans closer to whisper, which his nighttime adventures of the swindler will attest. We'll chuckle, and I am now most glad I told Arabella the truth. The gathering was a complete success, many people talking about it the next day with high praise. And though I enjoyed my time there, most of my memories are from my dance with Larry. Strangely, there is a sense of excitement at my knowing his part in the Swindler Act and having him now realize I know the truth of it. But it isn't until a couple days later that I have the chance to speak to him again. Are we almost done? I don't know if I should stop it right now or what, but I think we're almost done. I don't know. With Arabella once again out with Ernest, I am left to the peace of my own company. I have just settled down to tea and embroidery when Johnson announces a visitor. It's our boy. Hey, Mr. Amesbury, to see you. Again. I stand from my place as Mr. Amesbury strides inside, a bright smile playing at his lips. Good day to you, Miss Smythe. To you too, Larry. He steps further into the room, glancing about it in inspection. I find you alone today? Yes, Arabella is otherwise engaged. She most certainly soon will be, if the rumors about her and Colonel Voxley are to be believed. Good for her. But I confess I had hoped to catch you on your own. And I confess I had been hoping to see you, hoping to speak candidly on certain subjects, worried I might reveal your alter ego. Yeah, no. And I must confess myself, I had been hoping to see you alone. That is because you're always most kind to everyone, Miss Smythe. I have met few with such genuine care for others as yourself. A trait I should hope to learn myself in the future. As long as I have a good tutor, of course. He suddenly clears his throat to break the quiet tension building in the room. As I settle back in my seat, he comes to stand beside me. But I suppose the topic cannot be avoided forever, and you know the truth, I feel like I should explain myself. He begins to pace a little, uncertainty making his shoulders hunch. It is a strange pose to see from such a normally self-assured man. It was not my intent to become a thief on entering society this year. I simply grew very, very bored with the company of peers.
See, he's bored.
I found the cloak and hat and an idea formed. Oops, sorry. An idea, I admit, that may have been partly inspired by the new novels I've been reading. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's understandable. Okay, we understand now. I'll cut him some slack. I've been rude to him in the past. I'm sorry. But still kind of lame. But then, he frowned slightly, turning to face me fully. Then I met you. My one and only. Dare you to let me be. That's an Adele song. At the opening ball, I found myself drawn to you the moment we were introduced. You are a woman that most certainly stands out amongst the crowds. What you are doing is dangerous. I think what you're doing is exciting. I can understand your reason for doing it, but still, the danger of it. Yeah. I can understand your reasons for doing what you're doing. To find some way to add excitement to our lives is a great pursuit, but still, there's such a danger to it for you and whoever you decide to come up upon. You need to concern yourself with such thing. Yes, I do. I would never hurt anyone in what I'm doing. You carry a gun. It is merely for effect, but you could hurt someone. Some may argue that simply carrying such a weapon is tempting such danger. I doubt that I never load the thing. If there were ever signs of real altercation, I would simply leave. The rich are not brave, excluding your friends Lady Ashburn and Colonel Foxley, of course. Yes. In fact, Colonel Foxley and even Arabella were close to fighting back at you on times when you accosted us. Yet you stayed at those times. In those instances, the risk was worth it. I appreciate your compliment. Still, I fear for what may happen one day, even by accident. Please tell me you will no longer use the gun should you continue being the swindler. It was never my intent. Please. I give you my solemn vow, Miss Smythe, I will never touch a gun again. Aw. For a moment, I assume he's teasing me, as he often does in serious moments. Instead, I find his gaze serious and steady. His word is spoken with honesty. I raise my hand to take his fingers wrapping around mine instantly at the touch. Thank you. Whew. A lot of recording. 1 hour worth. He sits on the seat beside me, our legs almost touching. You're most welcome. We spend the rest of the afternoon talking and laughing on lighter topics. It is not until Arabella arrives home that we realize time has passed so quickly. The rest of the week, Larry and I manage to meet frequently at events. We often hear about the exploits of the swindler, and both of us glancing at each other knowingly. Later the next week, we arrange to meet at the seminars with the group. Okay, I am saving it because this is so long, you guys. Like, it's getting super long to the point where I'm like, I don't know if it's ever going to end. So we're going to finish it in the next part because this is super long. Watch the next part. Be like 2 seconds. Yeah, we saved it. We're good. Okay. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.